our volunteer program. In fact, several years ago, we had an award-winning at the federal level Volunteer Citizens Corps program. However, it met a crossroads where we examined the program. We looked at our needs, and in today's world, we really had to look at our risk management for the county too, to make sure everything was in line. And you did mention the CERT program. The CERT program is conceptually a one-size-fits-all. It was designed for earthquakes in hurricane-prone areas. It's been expanded. There are set requirements that you have to follow. You can't deviate. They create a program, but they didn't create any type of sustainment or performance evaluations. You know, once you got the training, you're basically a CERT member forever. And you know, little concerns about proficiency and keeping up with standards, things like that. So we stepped back and we disbanded the CERT program. We disbanded our Citizens Corps. We moved Citizens Corps up to the Advisory Council. We have a 30-member advisory board that represents everybody in the county, whether it's labor, schools, responders, communities. That's my sounding board. But I also have sat down with some of the individual volunteers. We had a couple of roundtable discussions, and I think Pat participated in one, and maybe you guys, I think, sat in, and I took feedback from them and tried to build it into the concept. So what we're trying to do is wrestle the 500-pound gorilla and get it into something that makes sense. And when I say that is, this is the second of 3 meetings, and we'll have some more, but you know, everybody's going, oh, wants to volunteer, but what are the expectations and how long do you maintain the interest of volunteers? That's my concern is if we build something and if you're going on the perception that I'm ready in case a disaster happens, that's good, except, knock on wood, disasters don't happen very often. And I like to keep it that way because I like to keep my job. However, in the time in between, if you're only looking at getting out there and the hands-on and doing the disaster type thing, you won't be around long because you're going to say, hey, I want to find a different avenue. And I respect that. Some people like the running out to the scenes, no problem at all. Other people like to just do other things. You know, the amateur radio, the weather spotters, you know, their niche is the weather side of things. However, these guys do volunteer for some other things. And so we looked at really 3 levels. First of all, it's spontaneous. If a large-scale event happens, guess what? Everybody and their brother and 6 cousins and their mother-in-law are going to show up at the scene and want to help. Whether they're trained, untrained, they might be bringing things that are needed or unneeded. That scene's going to be chaos for a period of time until you can get control. And at that point, those people are going to be kind of pushed back because they just showed up. In the event we need a lot of people, you can take the spontaneous people and do limited training and have them perform certain tasks. I'm not happy with that because you're not doing background checks. You don't know who these people are. You know, you don't know if they're convicted felons. You just don't know. They're working side by side or, you know, with other individuals. It's not acceptable, but it's a reality. It may happen someday. Then we get somebody that says, you know, hey Jeff, I want to volunteer, but man, I can't come to a monthly meeting. I don't, you know, I'm busy. I work a lot. I'm willing to step forward if something happens, but I can't go to all these trainings and monthly meetings, but you can count on me if proverbial, you know, hits the fan, I'll be there. So we created a secondary affiliate, and that's the second level of the system. We got some requirements that they have to meet annually. They're not the primary response group. If something large happens and we don't have enough primary affiliated volunteers, then we will go to the secondary and tap some of those people. You know, Stan, you know, says, hey, I'm the best cook in the world, but I'm too busy to come to your meetings. But if you need a cook, I'll be at your door in a half hour. Okay. If we get to a point where our school kitchens are overwhelmed, and we need help in cooks and that, Stan will be there. But otherwise, we probably won't see Stan. And I love that because I already done the background check, and you know, he says he lives in Marysville. Hey, these two are all over the world. You know, we should have had a world map and said, you know, you heard of Where's Waldo? You know, where's Stan? It just, but in essence, you know, it's a fact of life that you travel, you do things, you got other lives. For primary, Gene's going to go over a list of jobs or functions or roles that you may be interested in. You may not. You know, you may walk out of here and say, hey, secondary, that's good for me. If you need me, call me. But I don't think I can do everything you expect. If you want to be a primary, we're not saying that, hey, I want 10 hours a week. No. Primary, I'm just looking at coming to a number of trainings a year, not every training. And our trainings are going to be designed for the type of position you want to do. So we may have one or two general training sessions, so you know, you network and things like that, but if you're not interested in Skywarn and we do a weather spotting workshop, you probably won't come. But if you're interested in perhaps shelter operations, and we hold a shelter workers training, you'll be there, and maybe Stan won't be there. So that's the type of approach we're going to take. Some people like Facebook and Twitter, and other people just say, hey, no way. Don't want to be involved at all. I don't like it. And others that, you know, up north a week or so ago, Verizon cables were cut, and there wasn't basically internet and phones, and some people, you know, went into withdrawal. And, you know, what do I do? My phone doesn't work, or I can't get on Facebook. What we're looking at is creating a team. Number one, that would on a at-home, just normal everyday basis, just kind of keep an eye on social media for certain trends, that and Twitter. And to give you an example, we had I'll call it a spill, but a non-spill event a couple months ago. There was a boat going, well, probably several months ago, time flies. There was a boat going up the river, and noticed on the Canadian side an excessive amount of water or fluid coming over the break wall. They notified the Coast Guard, said, hey, there's a lot of fluid coming over. We're concerned about erosion. The amount of water eating away the ground is break wall. So somewhere at the Coast Guard, that threat of erosion turned into a major chemical spill into the river. Coast Guard got a hold of the ministry, and the ministry says, oh my God, it's a major spill. So not only did they notify the responders, but they started notifying the water plants. And also they notify, if you're not familiar with the other side of the river, there's a sovereign Indian nation downriver. And they notified them. And I tell you what, those people are very concerned about the quality of water, if I can say that properly. So the alarms are going off downriver. Sarnia goes over and takes a look, and it's water coming that they were flushing out of a fire system. There's no issue. They notified us and said, hey, you know, we talked to Jeff, you know, there's no issue, there's no chemical spill. Eventually there was a trace of a substance that they took right at the pipe, and it was what was in the fire system. It wasn't any type of hazard to the river. So hey, we went to bed, you know. Next morning I think I had 47 phone calls. I had the chairperson of the county board call me. People are saying, why can't we drink the water? Why are the water plants shut down? I don't know. What went on? Nothing that I know of. There was a report, but it was no spill. And then social media was just blowing up. A larger scale event, we'll continue to bring a team up here to function and monitor social media. But we also would like to keep a core group that, you know, just if you see something on social media and want to give us a heads up. And I'm not saying just, you know, one or two little comments, but, you know, if things really start to fester, and you say, that can't be true, let us know, and we can do some research, and maybe we can quell that long before it blows up into a full-fledged battle. One of the programs we're going to move out is, some of you people may be interested in community presentations, or you like kids, or that. We're revamping the Kids for Safety program. I've got a contractor in. She's revamping the curriculum. We plan on offering this now at libraries, recreation centers, wherever we can get 5 to 10 to 15 kids together. They're 5 one-hour programs, or you could do it in one 5-hour block. Kids' attention spans, I'm not sure one 5-hour block is really the answer. I mean, but it's once again, it's up to the group or the facility. We recommend either the 1 or the 2-hour. But like, we cover 5 subjects. Fire safety, there's 4 bullet points. And they're simple enough where you don't have to be a firefighter to present. Ideally, if we can get firefighters to do it, we would do that. School bullying, or school safety, issue going on. Once again, we're recreating some curriculum to focus more on that. Home safety, 72 hours preparedness, and weather safety. And you know, I'm going to tap our Skywarn people to say, hey, would you guys do 1-hour presentations on weather safety? We've got the curriculum. In fact, we almost have too much information. I'm going to bring some of you guys together and say, hey, let's weed some of the stuff out and get it down to what's pertinent for the kids. After each session, the kids get a patch. You get all 5, and then you get a nice certificate of recognition. So we're looking, because I have a contractor that's doing the work, the contract will end very shortly. We're looking for someone who might have the time that would be interested in facilitating the program. We can help secure the locations and that, but would love to have somebody that would coordinate, some people to do the instruction, things like that. Our staff is limited. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I mean, you all know what your capabilities, you know what your time is, you know what your interests are. If you're expecting to run out to emergency scenes, you're in the wrong spot. If you're in hope of bettering communities, you're in the right spot.
So volunteering, I mentioned to you earlier, I've been volunteering for a long time, and I just get a lot of personal satisfaction out of it. I've been on the United Way Citizens Review Committee for almost 13 years. Just recently had to move from that one, so now I have this new opportunity. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and want to thank all of you for your efforts. In St. Clair County, we do need volunteers, and we have our campaign about 72-hour readiness. Is can you survive for 72 hours on your own because the responders can't get to you? And we have information on the website. We've been doing some public education with that, but it's having a plan and preparing to take care of yourself until responders can get there. But beyond that, we also have a need to take care of our community. And in your own neighborhoods, you know if something happened. You'd be taking care of you and your family, your neighbors, the neighborhood. You would pitch in to assist with that, and you expect that. And then what we have here is the ability to have a little bit more ongoing volunteer effort. So I have a number of projects underway that is difficult to try to do all of that, so I'll be looking for some office type help with things like that, as well as the other projects that are coming up as we move along through this. So lots of opportunities in so many different places. We also have to clear the background check, so we'll be doing background checks on everybody. And then the participation in this orientation, this is 3 orientations we're having, will happen just here at the initial get-go, getting everybody up and running. The weather spotters, Skywarn people have been doing this for a number of years. Their expertise is going to be invaluable, sending me information about things like this can work, try this, that sort of thing. but we wanted to get everybody on the same page so we know what the expectations were. There's also some certifications that need to be done, and those are the Incident System 100, 200, and 700. Those are available online, and in your packet there is a paper about FEMA. If you'd like to pull that out, these 3 classes are available online. And that's going to give us a common framework for terminology, expectations. You'll understand how an incident command system is working, and so that's what that training is about. I just completed the 100 and 200 about 2 weeks ago or so, and it was about an hour and a half for each of them online. And then there is a test that you do, and because Mark had set up a class and then I turned out to be the only student for the class, I just sat at my computer and did it on my own. And then part of that process was the test is available to you right away, so you can print that and then use the test questions as you're going through the material online, looking things up, making notes to yourself, that sort of thing. And then Mark went over my responses, and then I went on and officially submitted my responses, and about 5 minutes later I get an email with my certificate for the 100 and the 200. I have the 700 set up to be working on next week, so I don't have any experience to share with you on that. But pretty painless, but it gives us that common background, common terminology, common understanding of what's going on in our world of emergency preparedness.